Sairam students, let's begin with the class 8 political science. Chapter 3, why do we need a parliament? Part 3 we are doing today. Let's go through the content. We have already done introduction, why should people decide, and then in our last session we learnt about the people and their representatives, right? And we started with the role of the parliament also. Just have a quick look what did we see in that people and their representatives. We learned that the people were given the importance there, right? The citizens of India, they were given importance, right, in making decision so that the democratic government can be formed. So the basic idea was each citizen is the most important person, and that is in the government along with other public institutions need to have the trust of these citizens. Then we saw how the individual can give approval to the government. The only way was through elections, right? The parliament, which is made up of all representatives together, controls and guides the government. Then we started with the role of the parliament. The role of the parliament in that we saw created after 1947. The Indian parliament is an expression of the faith that the people of India have in principles of democracy. Then we saw elections to the parliament are held in a similar manner as that are for the state legislature. The Lok Sabha is usually elected once every 5 years. Then we saw the constituencies. I told you this image, this map you have in your textbook also. The total constituencies that we have is 543. So each of these constituencies elect one person to the parliament. The candidates who contest elections usually belong to different political parties. Then we saw once elected, these candidates become members of parliament, or they are also called as MPs. These MPs together make up the parliament. After that we saw the functions. Once parliament has been formed, after elections parliament has been formed, then the important functions that parliament has to do is to select the national government, to control, guide and inform the government, and lawmaking. Let us learn all this in detail right now. To select the national government, the parliament in India consists of the president, the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. After the Lok Sabha elections, a list is prepared showing how many MPs belong to each political party. For a political party to form the government, they must have a majority of elected MPs. Now let's understand the meaning of majority. What is that? Since you can see here the number of members, total members have been shown to you, that is 545. It is 543 elected plus 2 Anglo-Indian nominated by the president, members in Lok Sabha. To have a majority, a party should have at least half the number, that is 272 members or more. So I hope you understood, from the total members the majority should be shown. That means more than the half should be shown. The opposition in parliament is formed by all the political parties that oppose the majority party. That is, coalition is formed. Now let's understand what is the meaning of that coalition. What is coalition? A temporary alliance of groups or parties. In this chapter, it refers to the alliance formed by political parties after elections, when no party has been able to get adequate seats to form a clear majority. See, when none of the party is able to find that majority, then they just join, they combine themselves with the other parties. That is, the alliance is formed among them. That is called as a coalition. One of the most important function of the Lok Sabha is to select the executive. Now, what is the meaning of executive? The executive is a group of persons who work together to implement the laws made by the parliament. This executive is often what we have in mind when we use the term government. The Prime Minister of India is the leader of the ruling party in the Lok Sabha. From the MPs who belong to that party, the Prime Minister selects the ministers to work with them to implement decisions. Now, these ministers can take charge of different areas. See, once the ruling party has been formed, the Prime Minister of India is the leader of that ruling party in the Lok Sabha. Then, Prime Minister chooses from that ministers for different areas of government. They function in the different areas, such as we have the health minister, we have education minister, we have finance minister, railway minister, we have many more ministers like that who have been divided different areas of working. So they just look after that particular area that has been allotted to them. Now let's understand the meaning of the coalition government here. What is the meaning of coalition government? A coalition government is a form of government in which political parties cooperate, reducing the dominance of any one party within that coalition. The usual reason for this arrangement is that when no party on its own can achieve a majority in the election, at that time a coalition government is formed. See, I can give you the best example of that the Maharashtra government. As we know, one of the not even the single party can show the majority. So NCP, Congress, and Shiv Sena, these three parties combined together to form the coalition, and they have the present government together. That is the example of coalition government. So, coalition government is like sometimes it becomes difficult for a single political party to get the majority, right? Then that is required, the majority that is required to form the government. Then they have to join together with different political parties who are interested in similar policies and programs to form the government. This is known as the coalition government, right? The Rajya Sabha functions primarily as a representative of the states of India in the parliament. The Rajya Sabha can also initiate legislation, and a bill is required to pass through the Rajya Sabha in order to become a law. It therefore has an important role of reviewing and altering. That is, if alterations are required, not only or not always, whenever any alterations are required in the law is initiated by the Lok Sabha. The Rajya Sabha has got that authority of reviewing it and altering it. The members of the Rajya Sabha are elected by the elected members of the legislative assemblies. See, you all know very well the members of the Lok Sabha are elected through elections, right? Whereas the members of the Rajya Sabha are elected by the elected members of the legislative assemblies of various states. There are total 233 elected members plus 12 members nominated by the president. So total number of members are 245 in Rajya Sabha. Now the second function of the parliament is to control, guide and inform the government. Now the parliament while the session is going on, begins with a question hour. What is that question hour? The question hour is an important mechanism through which MPs can elicit. They can elicit means they can answer, they can find out the fact, information about the working of the government. This is very important way through which the parliament controls the executive. That question hour is one of the important way through which the parliament has to control the executive. By asking questions, the government is altered to its shortcomings and also comes to know the opinion of the people through their representatives in the parliament, that is through the MPs. So asking question of the government, asking questions of the government is a crucial task for every MP. The opposition parties play a critical role in the healthy functioning of a democracy. They highlight drawbacks in various policies and programs of the government and mobilize popular support for their own policies. This is how the Rajya Sabha works. The government gets valuable feedback and is kept on its toes by the questions asked by the MPs. In addition to all the matters dealing with finances, the Parliament's approval is crucial for the government. This is one of the several ways in which the Parliament controls, guides, and informs the government. The MPs, as the representatives of the people, have a central role in controlling, guiding, and informing Parliament, and this is the key aspect of the functioning of Indian democracy. Then the next function that is there for the Parliament is lawmaking. Lawmaking is a significant function of Parliament. So, we have learned the main three functions of the Parliament here now. So let's have a quick recap of the important topic, that is the role of the Parliament, that we have learned today. Let's go through the important points of this topic right now. See, first we saw about the role of the Parliament, then we started learning about the functions of the Parliament. So we'll start with the functions of the Parliament now. The first function was to select the national government, correct? So after the elections, once the party wise elected representatives, they have made the party, right? Then for a party to make the national government, it is essential to get majority in Lok Sabha. That is, total number of seats in Lok Sabha is 543 plus 2 Anglo-Indian nominated by the president, right? So that total number of seats is 545. Out of that, 272 seats, that is the majority, should be held by that ruling party. The opposition is formed by all the other parties, and largest seat getter amongst them is called the main opposition party. So the leader of majority party is invited by the president to form the government or the ruling party, right? And then he or she, whomsoever is there, becomes the prime minister there. So from the MPs of their party, the prime minister selects their council of ministers who are given different areas of government functioning like education, finance, defense. I told you, then the prime minister has to make the minister separately for different areas. So in case no party gets majority, then the coalition government is formed. I explained you the meaning of coalition. It is a temporary alliance of parties. Generally, after election, when no party gets majority, an alliance of political parties is formed, that is coalition. Then how is it? Then we learned about the executive, how the executive is selected. That also we saw. Executive, what is that first? Very first thing, it's a group of individuals who work to implement the laws. It is selected by the Lok Sabha. The leader of majority party becomes the prime minister. Then from among his party MPs, he select ministers, correct, for the different areas to function, to look after that particular area. So these ministers take charge of different areas, and when we use the term government, we often means the executive. The executive comes in that, along with that term only. Then we learnt about the coalition government. I gave you the example of coalition government, that is the government of Maharashtra. It becomes when the coalition government is formed, when the single political party cannot get the majority to form the government, then that party has to join with different political parties who are interested in the same type of policies and programs, and thus that parties together form the coalition. Then we saw about the two houses of parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. See, if you will compare these two houses, you will be able to understand for these two houses in a better way. See, we know Lok Sabha is called as the lower house, and directly elected by the people of the country through elections, right? Whereas in Rajya Sabha it is called as upper house and indirectly elected from the state legislatures. Then we saw the total elected representatives in Lok Sabha are 545, 543 plus 2 Anglo-Indians, right? And whereas we saw in Rajya Sabha the total number of members are 245, out of which 233 are from state legislatures and 12 are nominated from different fields by the president, right? Then after that we saw the second function, that is the parliament has to control, guide and inform the government. The parliament begins, each and every session of the parliament begins with the question hour. We saw the meaning of the question hour. It's an important mechanism through which MPs elicit information about the working of the government, and this is a very important way through which the parliament controls the executive. So by asking question, the government is alerted to its shortcoming and also comes to know the opinion of the people through their MPs in the parliament. The MPs, as representative of the people, have a central role in controlling, guiding and informing the parliament. So this is the key aspect of the functioning of Indian democracy. Then we saw about the last function, that is the lawmaking. I told you lawmaking is also one of the significant function of the parliament. So here today we learnt about the most important thing, that is the main functions of the parliament. By that we have completed with the topic here as the role of the parliament is over, and the last topic, who are the people in the parliament, will be doing in the next session. Till then, take care.